the first club championship, Diamond in the Rough, July 8th, 2005. We showed up at the first club championship with 8 members, and like I said, it totally got decimated. And I said, you know what? Next year we're going to come back, not with 8 members, with 128 members. Of course, it was a little hard given the fact that we only had about 60, 70 members in the club at the time. So we had to find ways to really grow. And one of the ways that we decided it was a good idea to grow was to bring more people into the sport. That was one of the things that had always been our mission. So we started a new triathlete program with a woman by the name of Christy Smith. Christy and I were co-leaders of the first class of the NTP, and in fact many of those NTPs in the first class ultimately served on the subsequent boards of the club and became just huge proponents of the club. But we got to a point where I had about 70, 80 people signed up. I would go on the race website where you had to essentially declare what club you were affiliated with, and literally every day I would go and manually count how many people had said DC Tri Club, and if somebody hadn't declared themselves a DC Tri, I would email them and say, hey, you should go and correct the record. And it got to a point where we had about maybe 70, 80 members that had signed up, and it just wasn't enough. So I was a young lawyer at the time. I was working at a law firm, and my office was on DuPont Circle. And one night after I finished my work, around 9 o'clock at night until about 4 in the morning, I individually emailed every single club member, not a mass email. I individually looked up everybody's name and email on the system, sent them an email and said, hey, Anne, could you please sign up for the club championship? We're trying to reach 128, 133 members. I would really love it if you did. And people really responded to that. And after a while, it gathered so much momentum that the question wasn't anymore who's going, but it was like, who's not going to this thing? Neil Semmel, who was a race director at that race, he until this year when he retired from Piranha Sports, he was absolutely floored by the fact that year over year, we went from 8 participants to 128 participants. Everywhere you look, it was DC Tri Club members wearing DC Tri Club gear. It was incredible. We had a tent, we had a grill, there were people dancing to music, and there were people around at this race just amazed by this just new concept they couldn't even fathom in the world of triathlon, where racing in a tri at that time consisted of just arriving by yourself at some dark hour in the morning, racing and going home afterward. And that really, the energy that the DC Tri Club brought to the Mid-Atlantic region, race after race, it really changed the picture of how racing was done. And other clubs tried to imitate that, and there was a point in time where we were a little annoyed that other clubs wanted to imitate, and they would steal text from our website. And then we realized, look, the reason why they want to imitate you is that you're doing something really fantastic, and they want to be part of that. And we realized, triathlon is not a zero-sum game. We can all have amazing clubs and get together at these races, compete against each other, and all make the sport better. And when the regions, the federation started seeing what an incredible force clubs have become, I got invited to join the board of the USA Triathlon for the Mid-Atlantic. Clubs became a huge focus of the parent federation. They started the National Club Challenge, and today it is an absolute certainty at the highest level at USA Triathlon that growth, influence, and energy comes from the clubs, and they're absolutely mindful of that, and I'm really proud that in some ways our club had a lot to do with that.